Ever had a boss who thought you were a family member until it was time to take the blame? Yeah, me too. Only difference is, when they decided I was the problem, I made sure karma didn't just visit them. It moved in permanently. If you've ever had a toxic workplace where the boss pretends to care while stabbing you in the back, hit that like button, because this one's for every underpaid, overworked employee who dreams of sweet, sweet revenge. I still remember the smell of that warehouse. A mix of old rubber, sweat, and desperation. It wasn't exactly the dream job, but it was a job. I'd been hired as the marketing person for a family-run fitness equipment business, founded by a former Olympic gold medalist. Yeah, that was their big brag, Olympic legacy. Only problem? The Olympian had long since retired from both sports and sanity. His wife had taken over the business while he battled mental health issues, and she ran it with their adult kids. Now, when I say family business, I mean family business. Every argument, every emotional breakdown, every passive-aggressive breakfast conversation, all of it bled right into the office. My first red flag? The CEO, the Olympian's wife, let's call her Amy, tried to pull a side deal with me before I was even officially hired. She goes, "We can skip the recruiter, save some money. You'll still make more this way." At the time I thought, oh cool, she's being generous. Now I know that's code for, we don't do ethics here. Still, I took the job. The economy was rough and the team seemed nice. They hugged a lot. Like a lot. Every morning started with what they called a family meeting, which was basically Amy hugging everyone and calling us my kids. It felt less like a workplace and more like being adopted by a cult that sold treadmills. But hey, they smiled. They called me son. They even kissed cheeks. At first, it was disarming. Later, it was just weird. The meetings never actually accomplished anything. I'd bring plans, full strategies for marketing campaigns, email funnels, automation ideas, and within minutes, we'd be knee-deep in conversations about whose turn it was to walk the dog or why the daughter's boyfriend was such a liar. So yeah, I was basically running marketing solo, no team, no budget, just blind optimism and a dream. But I worked hard. I automated their sales process, integrated Salesforce, set up Slack, built a ticketing system, optimized their point of sale. Basically turned their Stone Age setup into something remotely modern. I was proud of it. But apparently, efficiency wasn't sexy enough for Amy. She wanted magic. She wanted me to double sales through social media posts, with zero ad budget and zero help. 3 weeks in, she calls me and her daughter, the operations manager, Reed, family drama director, into a surprise meeting. Amy folds her arms, does her best CEO face, and goes, "We're not seeing the results we expected." I take a breath, stay calm, and explain the issue. I haven't had much team participation or resources. I've done everything I can alone. But before I can finish, her daughter interrupts. "So you're saying we're the problem?" "Oh, honey." Amy leans forward with that passive-aggressive mom look. "You know, when we bring people into our family, we expect them to take ownership, right? Ownership, without authority, budget, or cooperation." That was the moment I knew I was done. They didn't want results. They wanted a scapegoat. So I smiled, packed my things, and left. But not before making sure my digital fingerprints were wiped clean. No trace, or so they thought. See, I may not have had help with marketing, but I did have eyes. And what I saw in that warehouse: pure chaos, OSHA violations on every corner, exposed wires right where customers walked, forklifts being driven by untrained employees, sometimes with another guy standing on the forks to reach stuff. No safety gear, no certifications. Hell, the entire mezzanine looked like it was one sneeze away from collapsing. And the best part? They thought this was normal. So while I was still employed, I quietly documented everything. Photos, videos, timestamps, all organized neatly just in case I ever needed to protect myself. When Amy fired me, I realized, oh, I might actually need to use this. So one calm afternoon, I made a call to OSHA. And let me tell you, that was the most satisfying hold music I've ever listened to in my life. I explained everything. sent over the photos, provided documentation, location, dates, everything they needed. The rep on the phone sounded impressed and a little horrified. She said, "This might take a few months, but we'll investigate." I hung up, smiled, and thought, "Take your time. I'll wait." Months passed. I moved on to a better job, real leadership, real pay, zero cult hugs. Every now and then, I'd check in on their website. Still up, still pretending everything was great. Then one day it was gone. 404. A few weeks later, I drove past the warehouse. And there it was, my masterpiece. Boarded up windows, overgrown grass, letters falling off the sign like the company itself was ashamed to spell its name. The parking lot was empty. The building was for lease. It looked haunted. I didn't laugh right away. I just stared. Because it hit me, my little phone call, my quiet, polite report had probably cost them everything. Oh, but it gets better. I had a realtor friend, absolute shark in the housing market. I told her, "Hey, you might want to keep an eye on Amy's property. Could be a quick sell soon." She laughed, thinking I was joking. A few weeks later, the house went up for sale and sold fast. Guess all those family hugs didn't pay the OSHA fines. The last time I checked, their entire online presence was gone. No website, no socials, no warehouse, just silence. I almost felt bad. Almost. Because the truth is, I didn't ruin their business. They did. All I did was show the world what was already broken. I just happened to have a flashlight. So wherever you are, Amy, I hope you're doing okay. But maybe next time, treat your family like employees, and your employees like people. Because sometimes karma doesn't knock. Sometimes it calls OSHA. In life, there's a fine line between family and manipulation. And when someone crosses it, don't get mad. Get smart. Because the best revenge isn't loud. It's permanent. If you felt that sweet rush of karma, smash that like button and drop a comment with the most satisfying workplace revenge you've ever seen. And hey, subscribe for more stories where justice doesn't just come around. It clocks in early.